Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. My name is DaRealLegend, and we are back with some NBA 2K Mobile. We are continuing our Who Are the Best Players series, and today we are focusing on the Defensive Masters theme, which we released earlier in the week. So we'll be breaking down the best players for this theme. We will look at all the stats of everyone who was released and rank them from lowest to highest, and discuss the brand new players that were added to the theme. Overall, this really helps you build out the best squads for you to use in head-to-head and for you to grind your seasons, because you know what? Stats do matter. All right, so let's start breaking down these players. So we're going to break down the Defense Masters. So we'll start with the lowest ranked player. Now also remember, some players, even though their stats are low, might have better gameplay. So that can play a part into your decision as well. And also some players might just fit a specific role for your team. So like if you need purely a defensive center, someone who you're not going to rely on scoring, and some of these centers might be better than what they actually appear, right? So Rudy Gobert is a 2.9 overall stat average. The stats that will help you out are his strength, rebounding, defending, and layups and dunks. Aside from that, the rest of the stats are fairly low. Pretty much use the same breakdown for Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe, however, does have a full and post scoring in addition to the layups and dunks, along with the strength, rebounding, and defending that Rudy Gobert has. So his stats are slightly better. And in head-to-head, incredible shot blocker as well. So Justin Winslow has a 3.3 overall stat average. If you take a look at it, he's got a 4 in agility, 4 in strength, 4 in playmaking, 4 in defending, and a 4 in three-point shot. Doesn't really excel in one category. Everything else is lower than that. Ben Wallace is actually one of those players that I feel gameplay-wise is much better than the stats represent. Really good in head-to-head as well. He's got a 6 in strength, right? One of the few players that have that stat, and one of the few players in the game that have a 6 in the stat category. He's got a 5 in rebounding, a 5 in defending, 4 in layups and dunks, and a 4 in agility. That's what makes him pretty good. With the right gear, Ben Wallace could be that center that you need. Like if you can focus on bringing up his layups and dunks and then maxing out the defending and rebounding, he's pretty beast. Ben Wallace was a 3.4 stat average. Now we're going to go into Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a 3.5 stat average. He's got a 5 in agility, a 5 in defending, which is really good. Then he's got a 4 in mid-range, a 4 in three-point shot, a 4 in strength, and a 4 in playmaking. He's on the average side. Considering he's a shooting guard, there are a lot more better options. And considering he's a gold rarity, I think you can be fine moving on from Marcus Smart. Now, if he was a higher rarity, he might be pretty decent for your squad. But you can always use somebody like Victor Oladipo, who has that 5 in defending as well, and will get the job done. Now we got Chris Middleton, who I think has one of the sweetest jump shots in the game. All right, so he's got a 5 in shoot off dribble and a 5 in mid-range shooting. He's also got a 4 in three-point shot, defending, playmaking, and agility. Again, I think his gameplay is slightly better than his stats. But for shooting guards, same thing like Marcus Smart, there are some better options. Now we got Dennis Rodman, who is so underrated in this game. Now his stat average is a 3.7, but he has some solid stats that can really make him useful for your squad. So as you can look, he has a 6 in rebounding. That's epic. 5 in defending, 5 in strength, and a 4 in layups and dunks, which is pretty good, along with the 4 in agility. I'm telling you, with the right gear, Rodman can be solid for your squad. You can boost up his post scoring, and he will become a scoring option for your team. His mid-range shot is a little bit better than the 3 that he has. If you can boost up his rebounding to a 7, defending to a 6 or 7, this guy's gonna be crazy on your team. Making his debut in NBA 2K Mobile is DeJounte Murray. He comes in with a pretty good stat average, 3.9. For point guard, that is pretty good. It actually is comparable to Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving. I'll save that for another video. That's a little crazy, but his stats are good. He's got a 5 in playmaking, 5 in defending, 5 in agility, and then he's got a 4 in shoot off dribble, layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, and three-point shot. Only categories that hurt him are strength and post scoring. Not that important for a point guard. And we were speaking about Victor earlier. Very well-rounded shooting guard in this game. One of the top rubies to craft as well. He's got a 5 in defending, which I thought was really solid, and that's why I did like Marcus Smart. But Victor's a much better choice because you can see he's got a 5 in agility, 5 in three-point shot, 5 in mid-range, and he's got 4 in shoot-off dribble and layups and dunks, which is important for a shooting guard. Then we got Bill Russell, who comes in at a 4.0. Defensively, is going to be a monster for your squad on head-to-head. But I think what hurts him is that he just doesn't have any shooting options, right? If you can look past that, I think his value is a lot higher, right? Very similar to Shaquille O'Neal, very dominant when you can ignore the fact that they can't shoot for your team, right? He's got a 5 in agility, 5 in strength, 5 in rebounding, 5 in defending, 5 in post scoring, and 5 in layups and dunks. You see, dominant if you can ignore everything else. Draymond Green comes out at a 4.1 stat average. I always say he's one of the underrated gems in the game. 5 in strength, 5 in defending, a lot of 4s across the board. He's got layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, 3-point shot, post scoring, and playmaking, which is huge for a power forward. And we got Paul George, 4.1 stat average. Again, one of the best small forwards in the game. Stats here are pretty solid too. He's fell down the ranks this year because there have been some new small forwards introduced in the game. And also some of the small forwards that were below him last year got a stat buff, and I'll explain that soon. But he's still pretty solid. Gameplay-wise, a lot of fun to use. 5 in shoot-up dribble, 5 in 3-point shot, 5 in defending. His layups and dunks, I think, should be a 5. And I also think his mid-range should be a 5. He's a very good shooter, in my opinion. Now, here goes Ben Simmons. Now, typically, I would tell you post scoring doesn't matter for a point guard. But because Ben Simmons cannot shoot in the game, that is one of his strengths, right? So he's got a 4 in post scoring, which is elite for a point guard. 5 in agility, 5 in playmaking, 5 in defending, 4 in mid-range shooting. And I think that's pretty accurate. He can hit the mid-range in his game. And he's got a 5 in layups and dunks. One of the best point guards that can dunk in his game. Even though some of them can pull off dunks, which I'm still surprised they are able to. Like John Stockton, come on, stop it. But Ben Simmons is very aggressive when driving to the lane. He's either going to find an open shooter because his playmaking is elite, or he's going to dunk on somebody. He's good. I like Ben Simmons a lot in this squad. And he comes in at a 4.1 stat average. We got Anthony Davis, one of the top power forwards in the game. 4.3 stat average. Not too many players higher than him. Giannis is the elite power forward at 4.6. At one point, they were the same rating, and then Giannis got a stat buff. So if you look at his stats, 5 in agility, 5 in layups and dunks, 5 in defending, 5 in post scoring, and everything else is pretty much a 4 for the exception of playmaking. Very solid. And then coming in next is Jimmy Butler, who got a stat buff. A real nice one too, because he went from a 4.0 last year to a 4.3. Rightfully so, because he balled out in the NBA Finals. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range, 5 in defending. I could argue he could get a 6 in defending. Jimmy is very elite, in my opinion. Everything else is a 4. Really solid. I'm glad they brought up his stats, because Jimmy is buckets. Next, new to the game, and man, they brought him in with some incredible stats. And this is another reason why Paul George got dropped down, right? Aside from the Jimmy buff, but SHAWN Marion comes in at a 4.4 stat average. That is ridiculous. His stats are elite. 5 in agility, 5 in rebounding, 5 in defending. Everything else is a 4. 5 in layups and dunks. I missed that one, but yo, pretty elite. And then the best player for this team is another small forward who is elite. 2 of my favorite small forwards are on this team. As you can see, we got the Kawhi Leonard and Paul George right there. Kawhi comes in at a 4.4 stat average. 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range, 5 in agility, and 5 in defending, which, again, I will argue could be a 6 as well. One of the best small forwards in this game. Gameplay-wise, he is unstoppable. And he's also one of the hardest players to get in this game. So the fact that you can craft them for 12 collectibles, it's not that bad. You can use Kawhi in head-to-head and still be okay. That's the breakdown of the Defense Masters theme. And those are who the good players are, who you should be trying to target, and who you should be grinding for in events, all right? So appreciate the support. Let me know in the comments if you want more videos like this for every upcoming theme. Be sure to check out the other content that's going to show up on the top of the screen. We have playlists for practically everything in NBA 2K Mobile, so be sure to check those out. Catch you in the next video.